The opening round of the newly revived Protyre MSA Asphalt Rally Championship saw a fantastic entry battle it out on tough military stages over Epping, with Melvin Evans coming out on top, beating multiple asphalt champion Damien Cole to victory. Jason Pritchard rounding out the podium places in that S2000 Fiesta. So after a few weeks off, the championship returns, this time heading over the water to the Isle of Man for the Bet on Aces Manx National Rally. And the crews arrived to blue skies and stunning views. Sadly, it wouldn't last. The rain, fog and wind arriving just in time for the Friday night stages. It's all hands to the wet tyres then. Last year's winner Hugh Hunter leads the crews away. 3 times victor on the event, Jason Pritchard next on the road. Damien Cole following them into the stages, looking to bag himself that elusive Manx National Rally win. 8 stages for the crews on day 1 then, 4 stages, each repeated as the darkness draws in. Taking the early lead in the rally would be Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark. They have a great run in the extremely poor conditions to end the first loop with over a minute of an advantage. It wasn't without a few moments along the way, as you might expect in conditions and on roads like these, but they get through with that good advantage into the nighttime stages.
Water on. Here, 2 left short, rightish over small crest, 50, water, 4 left, 120. Well done, 120, flat small crest, 100. 100, here, 3 right half long over bump, 100, water again. Flat middle crest, 150, 150. 1 right and small crest. Small crest 30, 1 left over crest 50. To 2 left, into 3 right minus. 3 right minus and 4 left half long. Tightens 5 left, 30, remember. 4 left sharp over crest and bump, don't cut. 80 down and you're through. Okay, well done. Well held.
I'd never seen it that bad up there.
Oh. Dan Harper and Chris Campbell joined the championship at this round, and they would be expected to go well. Previous Manx champions, of course. They end the first loop with 2nd place overall on our leaderboard in the Mini WRC. And we'd also see Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead join in the competition at this round. Asphalt not the pair's usual surface, of course, but they were going well nonetheless. 3rd overall, just over a minute back from Harper up ahead. Things were going anything but smoothly for the similar car of Damien Cole and Jamie Edwards. They end the first loop in 12th place on the leaderboard, retiring soon afterwards with a mishandling car. The victory having to wait for perhaps another year. It will be a great start though, meanwhile, for Wayne Sisson and Max Freeman. They lie just outside our podium places overall with 4th, as well as leading the way in Class E in that Mitsubishi. For Bob Fowden and Den Golding, it will be 5th. The Subaru pair taking a measured approach to the wet conditions, and it was paying off. A little off the lead, but still going well in that 5th position. It will be 2nd place in Class E for Barry Groundwater and Neil Shanks. 2nd of the Evo 10s in the results at this stage, and lying in 6th place overall as well. The times in that class were getting a little closer. Richard Clues and Hamish Campbell just 13 seconds back from Groundwater in 7th place. Stu Bainborough hadn't had the best of luck on the opening round, I think it was fair to say, going off the road on the very first stage of the rally. This time he had the help of Jane Nichol in the co-driver's seat, 8th place overall for the pair at this stage in the event. And one of the drives of the opening loop, as far as our crew was concerned, would have to be this man, Di Roberts, Stephen Christin alongside, using their lack of power to their advantage in these wet conditions. Of course, when it's like this, sometimes the weather can level things out, ending the loop with 9th place overall. And rounding out that top 10 at the end of 4 stages will be Jeff Wright and Jonathan Turnbull. The S2000 Fiesta sounding fantastic, winding up those revs on these Manx stages. As we've seen so far from Cole, though, it wasn't good news for everyone. And we'd also lose this man, Rob Tout, Pereira Wyn-Davies alongside, their diff giving up in stage 2. And we'd also lose Chris Wheeler and Sean Leyland a little earlier in the rally. They retire with mechanical problems at the end of stage 4. So confirmation then of that early lead for Pritchard, and what a lead it was in these conditions. The weather really sorting the men from the boys, if I can possibly use that expression, this weekend. On we go to the next loop of stages then, and the rain had stopped, but darkness had arrived in its place. That wouldn't change the lead though for Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark, extending that advantage at the top to over a minute and a half now.
A flat middle crest, 150.
And there wouldn't be any change for Dan Harper and Chris Campbell either. They remained second, with the gap either side of them starting to grow now. There'd be change in third, Wayne Sisson and Max Freeman stepping up to that podium position and maintaining their lead in the class as well at this stage. The change would actually be due to the loss of Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead. After going so well, the pair would be excluded for servicing outside of a permitted service area. Things were still going well, meanwhile, for Bob Fowden and Den Golding, up to 4th place now and still keeping out of trouble on these tricky stages. Of course, like many others, it will be a place gained for Barry Groundwater and Neil Shanks. A small overshoot, losing them a few seconds, but that wasn't enough to change the leaderboard at the end of day 1. In fact, the biggest advance of the results at this stage would be from Jeff Wright and Jonathan Turnbull, moving their way from 10th up to 6th place through the evening's leg. It will be a consistent loop for Richard Clues and Hamish Campbell, keeping hold of their 7th place overall, 3rd in Class E. And David Hardy and John McCulloch move into the top 10 now, taking 8th place overall at this stage in the Impreza. Things still going to plan as well for this man, Di Roberts, leading Class B with Stephen Christian in the co-driver's seat from a fantastic 9th place overall. So rounding out the top 10 now were Phil Turner and Ian Meakin, the pair also leading the way in Class C with that result so far. A look then at some of the classes and stories, and there are always plenty of those outside of the top of the results, and things were not quite going to plan for Philip Hopkins and Allard Edwards. An off early into the rally would put them near the back of the leaderboard. So down at the bottom of the results, it would be a fight back later in the day that would see them pull back up to 11th place overall. Heroic, let alone in these conditions. Lloyd Morgan and Mark Clapworthy make a good start to the rally in Class A, the lead in that class as well as 12th overall and slowly climbing the right way on the leaderboard. It had been a great start to the season so far for Chris Rice and Charlie Sayer-Payne. They were starting round 2 off the right way as well, 13th place overall at this stage in the rally. And Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest continued their season on the asphalt with a 2nd place in class start to the rally, lying in 16th place overall with that position as well. Meanwhile, just behind them in the class were Rydian Daniels and Thomas Whittle, the Citroen C1 pair just 4 seconds off the Proton at the end of the first day. For Paul and Julian Doroschuk, it would be 2nd place in Class C. Not looking like they would catch the leaders, but they had a bit of an advantage in that 2nd place themselves. And it will be 2nd place in Class A for Bill Paintner and Andy Hollingham, their first time on the island, so things were going to plan. Mostly, they do lose the brakes on the final stage, but get them sorted overnight. Jeff Glover and Keith Baker bring the rear-wheel drive Astra out on the Manx lanes once again, looking like a similar performance to the opening round at this stage as they lie 3rd in Class C. And engine mount failure on the opening round wasn't going to get the better of Adrian Drury and Kat Lund this weekend. Plenty of work leading up to the event would hopefully see to that. For now, the pair lie 23rd overall, 5th in the class. And for Tim and Jack Waters, it will be the lead in Class D, the only crew in that class, and lying in 24th overall. So with day 1 complete, there are a few changes in the leaderboard, but not crucially at the top. That lead for Pritchard still looking like a good one, but on this event, anything, as we've seen so often before, can happen. On to day 2 then, and the lead of the rally wouldn't change, but the weather certainly did. Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark continuing to lead the event, and just as they had last night, they continue to extend that lead into the morning stages, now in glorious sunshine and just over 2 minutes of a lead at the end of stage 12. There didn't seem to be anything that Dan Harper and Chris Campbell could do to catch our rally leaders, but they were extending their own advantage in second, ready to take the lead should anything happen up ahead. For Wayne Sisson and Max Freeman, there will be no change to their podium place. They remain in third, themselves also giving themselves a good margin in that position. The rest of the leaderboard would take a shake-up though when we lose Bob Fowden and Den Golding, the Subaru catching fire in stage 10. So for Barry Groundwater and Neil Shanks, it would be a move up to 4th place now. Happy to take that position and lie just outside the podium going into the final loop of stages. There will be a couple of places gained for Richard Clues and Hamish Campbell. They end this loop of stages with 5th place overall, 3rd in Class E just behind Sisson and Groundwater. And still on with their giant killing, things were also going the right way for Di Roberts and Stephen Christian. 6th place now, and proving their seeding wrong. Problems towards the end of day 1 had been fixed in service and not causing any issues today. Phil Turner and Ian Meakin are another crew moving a few places up the results in this loop. They end the morning with 7th place overall, leading the way in Class C by a comfortable margin. Philip Hopkins and Aled Edwards were continuing their climb up the leaderboard after their day 1 problems. They end this loop with 8th place overall, 3rd in Class F. And we'd lose David Hardy and John McCulloch from the results when they pull off the stage with mechanical problems. It will be a top 10 place now then for Chris Rice and Charlie Sayer Payne. They end these stages with 9th place overall, 4th in Class E. And rounding out the top 10 now were Chris Ford and Neil Coleman, the Impreza WRC pair making their way up the leaderboard as the rally went on. So we've got just a handful of stages remaining here at the Manx National. The top of the leaderboard doesn't look like changing, but there would still be plenty to fight for throughout that leaderboard in the final miles of this event. And of course, right the way through to 1st place, anything could happen yet. As challenging and grueling and also as exciting as we'd ever known it, the Manx National had once again delivered so far. On to those final stages then of this exciting rally, and it will be a 2nd place in Class A finish for Bill Paintner and Andy Hollingham. That class would actually be split in 2, the pair taking the win in the 1400 C class. There wasn't much change in Class C, Jeff Glover and Keith Barker ending the event with 3rd place in the class as well as 16th overall. For Paul and Julian Doroschuk, it will be 2nd in that class, a minute and a half ahead of Glover on the results by the end of the rally. There wouldn't be any change in Class B though. Rydian Daniels and Thomas Whittle happy to come away with 3rd in the class, missing out on 2nd by just 19 seconds. And in that 2nd place would be Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest. They managed to hold off the challenge from the Citroën pairing to end the rally and take that 2nd place in the class in that Proton. Lloyd Morgan and Mark Clapworthy have a perfect event this weekend, taking victory in Class A. A moment in one of the stages with the boot flapping around probably didn't help their concentration, but ultimately it didn't change their results by the end of the day. Frustratingly though, there was change to that fantastic run for Di Roberts and Stephen Christian, which would take a hit in the final stages. The pair breaking a drive shaft close to the start of stage 13 and having to continue through 3 full stages in one-wheel drive. Just let that sink in. They get it fixed for the final stage, managing to keep hold of the class victory though, as well as salvaging 11th overall. Heroic, I think you'll agree.
We were above expectations last night, and then today we knew it was going to be hard today. The stages were too fast for our car, which only does 107. So, but the shaft ruined it to a couple of places, but no, I was still over the moon. Class win, happy days.
Stu Bainborough and Jane Nichol would, however, have a little less luck. Back out after their day 1 misery, they were putting in some good times, only to break a shaft themselves on stage 14, ending their rally for good. On to the top 10 then, and it would be John Clayton and Mark Perryman in the end that round out the top of the results. 5th place in Class E with that result. For Chris Ford and Neil Coleman, it would be 4th in Class F. The Impreza WRC pair ending the rally with 9th place overall as well. Chris Rice and Charlie Sayer-Payne take 8th here at round 2. The points from this round now putting Chris 4th overall in the championship standings. Phil Turner and Ian Meakin hold on to that Class C lead to the end of the rally, taking victory there as well as 7th place overall in the Escort.
What a result, first in class, but more importantly, first two-wheel drive in the Protyre MSA Asphalt Championship.
Yeah, very pleased really. I mean, we didn't think we were going to do as well as we did today, but I mean, on the first 2 stages was horrendous, wasn't it? We sort of screen misted up, water coming in the car, you just couldn't see a thing.
Like driving through a car wash, somebody said last night.
It was horrendous, and we just floated down through Bamfords. I mean, it was terrible, wasn't it? Yes. We just wanted to go home, really, didn't we?
You've been coming here for a few years now, and you know, practice makes perfect. It's all come right this weekend.
Yeah, we come here about 20 years ago in a 150 horsepower Sunbeam. I mean, this is 300 plus, and first time I've been on the lanes with this car, and it's just scary. It just scares the hell out of me. But today, it's all come together. The tyres came right, Ian was right, everything was right.
Have you enjoyed yourself?
Oh, fantastic.
Big smiles.
I don't want to swear, but it was unbelievable. Yeah, really, really good.
Well done, congratulations. Great to see you having these points in the championship.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And that recovery drive for Philip Hopkins and Aled Edwards had gone to plan as much as they could have hoped. 6th place would be a great end to what, let's face it, hadn't been the easiest or smoothest of events for the pair. The battle in Class E wouldn't see much change, but that will be welcomed as far as Richard Clues and Hamish Campbell were concerned. They would just be happy with 3rd in the class as well as 5th on the overall leaderboard, making up for their round 1 disappointment. For Barry Groundwater and Neil Shanks, it will be 2nd in that class. They end the rally outside of the podium places with 4th overall. And talking of those podium places, let's have a look at them, shall we? It will be business as usual at the top of the leaderboard. Wayne Sisson and Max Freeman happy to take that podium place and, of course, Class E victory this weekend in the Evo. It was frustration for Dan Harper and Chris Campbell that there would be no mistakes made ahead of them, meaning that they had to settle for 2nd place. But what a place and what a grueling event to be settling for anything. A fantastic end to the rally for the pair, who kickstart their season off with some good championship points. But that, of course, and it was never really in doubt, means it's victory for Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark. They'd shown that they meant business right from the start, continuing to extend their lead throughout the event and throughout all the conditions that this Manx microclimate could throw at them, taking victory by the end of the rally by over 3 minutes and giving themselves a 6-point lead in the championship after round 2.
2 left max, 30, middle flat crest, 30, 1 right, 1 left, 70, care 4 right past sharp by the house, 60, 60, 1 right max, 80, 2 left max, 250, remember, 2 right max, 160, 160, slow, 3 left short, tightens, turn immediate 9 right, 70, 70, 3 right plus, into 2 left max, 100, 100, 2 right half long, and 3 left tightens, tightens, 80 slowing, 1 right short, 50, tidy square left over junction, don't cut, and 3 left plus sharp, 2 right half long, into 6 left sharp, 200 over the finish. Well done.
Cheers, Phil.
Well done, mate. Well done. Well driven. Fantastic. Brilliant.
Spot on as always.
So confirmation then of the final results at the end of the rally. That victory for Pritchard puts him in the lead of the championship going into the next round in Belgium.
Well, Jason Pritchard, an emphatic win. This is your 4th win here. You must be over the moon.
Yes, a pleasure, especially last night in them conditions. You know, a lot of people got caught out, and we had a couple of close calls, and you know, it just woke us up a bit, and it was good. It's a tough event, and we just keep our noses clean and do every stage as if it's the first one, and here we are at the end.
You must have left here last night. You know, you've got a lot of experience here. Did you know it was going to be that difficult? Because you know the island that well?
No, I've never seen water like that before. It's literally running off the field, so you can round the corner. It's like a river across the road. So running first on the road then, because Hugh obviously went out on the first one. We're the first ones to find all these patches, and you just got to keep that in your mind and play caution, really. And it's a long event, and there's no point throwing it away in the first few.
And as far as the championship goes, the Protyre MSA Asphalt Championship, you must be pleased to be leading that with such a strong lead.
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, it's a long way to go in the championship, and Belgium next, so it's a new challenge there, something different, and look forward to it. Obviously, it's going to be a strong entry like there was this weekend, and we'll just try and do the best we can there as well.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Daniel Harper, second overall here in the Manx National. You must be over the moon.
I'm very, very pleased. Very, very difficult event, but yeah, really pleased.
Last night must have been horrendous then.
Yeah, we had a bit of a game plan last night. Go fast where you could see it was all right to go fast, and go slow where you couldn't. And then sometimes that didn't work, and then we had a few moments. But luckily we came through out the other end.
Any problems with the car at all over the weekend?
No, nothing at all. We just setups for us, and just trying different things in the wet and in the dry.
Now, good points in the MSA Protyre Championship. You must be pleased with them points.
Yeah, we very, very pleased. We missed the first round due to illness, so we didn't go to Epint. So yeah, to come here and get second, yeah, we could have just done with the Welshman not finishing though.
Are you committed to go into Belgium?
Yes, we're going to Belgium. Yeah, we're committed to all of them.
Fantastic, well done, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Difficult conditions, difficult tyres. I mean, what did you want last night? I mean, the standing water was horrendous.
It was, but I enjoyed it, and I think that's what helped us out, and I think my night driving experience probably paid off there as well. So
how much have you pushed on today to try and maintain this situation and get up to third?
I pushed on the first two this morning just to see where the guys behind what we're doing, and we took time out of them. So we knew we could hold them at bay, but then Bob Fordham retired, and we had a good buffer then. So we just kind of driven round really.
What's your favourite stage here? Because there's some classic driver stages here.
The Baldwins, Drewdale and Baldwins. Yeah, I love them.
Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next up then, the championship heads across the water once again. It's different water though, this time to Belgium. An event new to most of the championship crews, and one that will level the playing field once again as a result. We will of course be there to bring you all of the action live from the stages and in our review soon after the event for the official coverage. In the meantime, you can catch up with all of the action from previous rounds on ours and the championship's social media. Thank you for watching Special Stage. We'll see you next time.